Yeah, you're good now.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, you're handsome, dude.
Thank you. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode 3 of On Base and Unbiased. As always, if you can like, comment, and subscribe, it's absolutely free. It goes a long way just to support us further. But episode 3, I can't believe we're already here. We got a really great episode coming here. We're covering a couple series that happened last week, a couple guys that were dealt on their new teams. 2 or 3 very big series that leading up to the playoffs that really aren't that far away. We're also doing the top 5 teams that we all think right now are in the MLB. So sit back and enjoy, and let's jump right into it.
I
Gentlemen?
googled Zach Steele to see if I could find him online, but I can't. He's not popular.
No. So what
Famous.
what series you want to jump
I
off
want to talk,
first?
talk about the Padres Dodgers. That was the biggest series.
I think that's an
Dodgers.
important one to talk about.
The Dodgers are so good. It's everyone after the trade. Everyone was like, "Oh well, they got Soto and they got Josh Bell. The Padres are better." We talked about it. Just so clear the Dodgers are better. I know the Padres aren't healthy. I mean, Fernando Tatis is going to be big for them, but Dodgers are they're a class of their own.
So, Steele, let me ask you: What do you think? Do you think this is a big concern of the Padres right now? Do you think they should be really concerned that post-trade deadline, the first series that they have against the Dodgers, they're swept easy?
No, no,
Yeah, I don't think they should be concerned either. I don't see too much of
no. But I
concern.
don't think they should be concerned. But I also don't think they just say, it doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah, of course.
Your
They gotta
closest
come back
game
with a
was the game
vengeance,
you got shut out in. So,
Yep.
but
Yep.
I don't know. The Dodgers are just different. Like the Dodgers have what's his name? I think his name's Andrew Heaney.
Yeah,
He was
Andrew
on the
Heaney
Yankees last
used to
year,
play for the
and he
Yankees,
threw
yeah.
bullpens.
Yep.
He threw batting practice.
He's got
Anytime
a
he pitched, and the Dodgers get him,
.64
and he's
ERA.
a stud. From
He's doing
how?
well.
Where did he come from?
He's doing
He's
well.
terrible.
Well, if you look at these games here, the biggest difference maker is starting pitching. You got Manaya, whatever his last name is, Sean there for the Padres, giving up 8 earned runs versus Gonsolin's no earned runs, right? The next game you got Clevenger coming with 5 earned runs against Andrew Heaney's 0 earned runs, even though he gave up 3, they're all unearned. You got Darvish coming out with 2 earned runs over 6, and then Anderson gives up 0 earned runs. He only lets up 2 hits, and then the rest of the game, the Dodgers don't give up another hit. The Padres just couldn't put a bat on the ball, and their starting pitching couldn't lock down that lineup. But I mean, you look at that lineup: Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, Freddie Freeman to start off a baseball game. Is that the toughest 3 to
Oh,
start off with?
without a doubt. I mean, I don't want to toot Steele's horn a little bit, but Boston definitely has one of the second or third best top 3 batters in the league. I think so. In that batting order, they're all batting over 300 easily.
Sox are terrible.
They might be
We're
terrible.
not talking about the Sox
We're
right
not
now.
talking
Hell the
about.
team.
I'm just saying the
No.
3 bats if they were to go one after
Yeah.
another. But
Yeah.
to go back to the series, I mean, like Steele said that you wouldn't be too nervous. I think I'm a little more nervous how bad Soto played in that opening series against the Dodgers, a team they're probably going to face in the playoffs. I mean, if you really look into that trade, what is it, Brandon Dury? He's the best one to come out of that trade.
Drury.
He's hit a couple home runs.
No.
As of right now,
Yeah, but Juan Soto.
You know,
Soto did go. Last time I saw, he was 2 for 2 today. Finally, a good game.
Home run today or yesterday.
but to give credence to Juan Soto there,
It's a
he
big
was on
word.
base five out of 11 times. He was on base 5 out of 11 times in that series. Which honestly, I'm going for the on base for Juan Soto. I'm not looking for that pop. I'm not looking for that power. The guy leads the league in walks by over like 40 walks. It's absolutely insane what this bat is.
He's also had to play in a lineup where he's the only guy they're pitching to, or that they can pitch around him, which is why he leads the league in walks. Because now he's got to kind of figure out how to okay, well they're not going to have to pitch around me because if they do, they're going to end up throwing to Drury or Bell or Tatis or Machado. Like, that's different when you're in a lineup where you can't be pitched around. Now you have to change your entire approach. Where this entire first half of the year, or more than first half of the year, you've been, oh, I don't really have to go up there, and maybe they're not even going to pitch me with 2 outs and no one on because they'll just walk me and say, we'll just get the next guy out.
Yeah, but against the
Like,
Dodgers,
he doesn't
that
really
have
have that.
the Dodgers who have very, very sound pitchers. He walked 3 times in that series out of 11 ups.
He's still going to walk because he's
he
a good
hits,
he's a
I
good
think-
good batter with a good eye, but he's still got to change his approach from a walk first, but just a different approach he's going to have, and it's only 5-6 games into his.
You know,
tenure,
I like his walk first approach simply for the fact that it raises pitch count, and especially with those Dodgers pitchers, if you got to face them in the postseason, you got to get that pitch count up fast and get their bullpen in there because their bullpen is like it seems to be their only weakness on their team, and even then, their bullpen is freaking locked down.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a different approach he's gonna have to take because he's not gonna get as many walks in San Diego. Because if they walk him, well, they're gonna walk him and then pitch to Machado, Bell, Drury, and Cronenworth. So like, you're not gonna walk him as much because you're gonna have to pick your poison. And you're probably gonna want to pitch to Soto if there's a lefty on lefty. Machado's balling right now, so just not gonna get as many walks. Not a bad thing.
Drury did not look good in that Dodgers series there. He only put up 1 hit in the series.
Maybe it's a series he's in right now against the Giants. He's been playing some good baseball.
That first series, he started out with a grand slam right off the bat. I mean,
and slam in the first inning.
Had a lot of promise. Yeah.
The Padres will be fine. They're going to get Tatis back. You can't really judge the series because Tatis not being there is huge. Like,
I think this is more of a credit to the Dodgers than a knock to the Padres.
Without a doubt. I mean, the Dodgers just look unstoppable. I mean, like you said, their front 3 batters are unbelievable. Their starting pitchers are unreal. I mean, Tyler Anderson. I mean, he was on the Pirates forever. He looked like a bust. And I mean, he's 11-2, 11-1. I mean, I think going into the All-Star break, he was 10-1. So super low ERA. He doesn't get a ton of strikeouts, but he's super consistent and doesn't really give up a ton of earned runs and pitches late into games. And on a team,
that's a guy that you name that doesn't get enough credit. Because if you look at that Dodgers rotation, which is all around sound, when Walker Buehler's back, it's almost game over. But based on this season alone, Anderson's the number 2 pitcher on the team, if not number 1. I mean, Gonsolin seems like he's just running away with being the number 1 on the team for the season. But I mean, is it Tyler Anderson? Yeah, it's Tyler Anderson. I mean, he's sitting here with a 2.72 ERA, which is 13th in the league. 97 strikeouts, which isn't the greatest, but a 1 WHIP is fantastic. A 13-1 record. He's not getting enough credit.
13-1.
He's got the same record, just about a similar ERA, a little bit more strikeouts, and a little bit less of a WHIP. And so yeah, Tony Gonsolin's probably the undisputed number 1 on that team for this season. But I mean, all around sound. Hats off to the Dodgers for being able to buy their roster the way they always buy their roster, but not only buying it, developing it as well.
I don't know if we say the Dodgers always buy their roster.
Oh, they got
the
a
Dodgers
fantastic
found a window
farm
where they can
system,
go
but
win,
their farm
so they went all
system,
in now. But
they always have so much in their farm system that they can just dump. Their farm system's doing something right. Think about it. The past 3 or 4 years.
Where are they right now?
Huge names.
Are they? What's their ranking right now?
Dodgers?
Yeah, are they top 10 still?
Number 1.
He's talking about the farm
number
system.
1? They're not number 1.
He's talking about their farm system, their prospects.
Orioles are 1.
Oh. I thought you were talking about record.
The Dodgers have made these trades, and they're still 5. The Orioles are 1. The Mariners are 2. The Rays are 3. D-backs, Dodgers at 5. Marlins, Pirate.
I know, but when you look at this
Royals,
Dodgers team,
Rangers,
I don't think they're that concerned on what their prospects have to offer. I mean, there's really there's no old guys on this team. I mean, a lot of their pitchers are probably under 28, 27, so they got a pretty young team, and they're going to be good for a while.
Their biggest issue is that Trey Turner's on a contract here. Isn't he up for contract next year?
The left side of their infield's an issue. Will be an issue. Turner's a free agent.
Well, I'm not concerned about
Trey
third
Turner's a free
base. 'Cause
agent.
I'm not concerned
Oh,
about
but
third base because third base there's always a huge pool of third basemen to choose from. It seems like third basemen come out of nowhere, but shortstops, I mean, it's a growing number for shortstops, but it's much more limited than third base.
Well, it's like we talked about on the trade deadline. We were wondering why Chris Bryant wasn't dealt, or they do something with Chris Bryant.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a solid third baseman. I would not be shocked if they made a move for him on the offseason or next season. The trade deadline comes around and the Colorado Rockies are still middle of the pack and they don't want to pay Chris Bryant all that money. We know there's no salary cap in
if you watch the
MLB.
Rockies, not to get off on a tangent, but if you watch the Rockies, take the Dodgers, take the Padres out of their division. The Rockies very well could be number one in that division. Replace them with any team that's not one of your top 5 teams in baseball. The Rockies?
hey, what did you just say?
I said
Get
the
out of here.
Rockies. Are you kidding me? Have you not watched them? All year
Rockies are
long?
not a top team in baseball.
Buddy, they're good. They're actually
They're
really
not
good.
good.
They just they
Not
can't
good.
field. They can't field. That's their biggest issue.
That's insane.
And it sucks when when they play at home. I mean, it's a home run derby at their field, so that doesn't help their
Rockies are
pitchers at all.
49 and 63.
Okay.
28 and a half games back.
Take the Dodgers and the Padres out of their division. Put 2 others in there, okay, that are not in your top 5. And I can almost guarantee you the Rockies are top in that division there. They're having a really solid year.
If you took off the Dodgers and Padres, and
The Rockies have had the Padres number this year, honestly.
if you put 2 worst teams in division, let's say you put the Nationals and the Reds in that division, the Rockies are in 3rd place and they're 5.5 games behind the Giants, Giants are 54 and 57, the Diamondbacks are 50 and 59, and the Rockies are 49 and 63.
Yeah, I get that. I understand.
Yeah, but
that,
you can't
Steve.
look at the
You gotta
record
watch
there.
these Rockies. These Rockies. I mean, they
I
just
mean, you
took
can't
out-
look at the record.
They just took out the Cardinals, who were on a 7-game win streak. They beat them 16-5. I get it. Baseball, 1 game.
But what?
It's a bipolar game. I get that. But the
Roy-
Rockies,
the Roy-
they've been doing that all season.
Royals took a series from the Yankees doesn't mean the Royals are better. Red Sox
Royals
beat the
didn't take a
Astros
series.
doesn't mean the Red Sox are anywhere near the top 20 teams in baseball.
I'll give you that.
Astros are one of the best teams in baseball. They lost the
Fair
series.
enough.
They
It's an
lost the
argument.
series.
But I know what
Series the
John's
Red
trying to
Sox.
say. I mean,
Trash.
when you look at the
Get what you're saying to say.
Rockies lineup, top to bottom, I mean, there's really no. Yeah, you have Charlie
Solid.
Blackmon, you have Chris Bryant, you have C.J. Crown.
Like
I mean,
Blackman.
Charlie Blackman's not having the year everyone thought he was gonna have coming after.
But he's an old, reliable veteran.
He's a great leadoff man. I mean, he hasn't really stolen any bases. He's had a really tough time
Charlie
getting on
Blackmon.
base.
We're going by average.
Average on that Rockies team right now, CJ Crown's the best player on that Rockies team right now. He's having
Oh,
an
CJ Crown.
CJ Cron is
unbelievable
is
season.
hitting 280. Blackman is a DH. Doesn't even play the field, so he offers nothing in the field, and he's hitting 263.
Who?
Charlie Blackman.
He plays the field every
Maybe
once
he's
in a while.
DH tonight,
He's
if that's what
DH.
you're looking at.
He's listed as a DH.
Who do they got
No,
playing
it's not
center?
today's lineup. Because
Well, you know why? It's because they've been putting Connor Joe in center field, and Connor Joe is actually a really decent player. You know what? We're getting off on a tangent here. We can talk about the Rockies later. Let's move on to our next series. There, I'm pumped to talk about this one series, and clearly it's not Yankees Cardinals. Okay, I'm pumped to talk about Mets Braves. Can we please talk about Mets Braves?
Yeah, what do you want to talk about them? How
The
Mets are the
unbelievable
best
the
team in
Mets
New
are
York.
this year?
Shag. What's that?
How unbelievable the Mets
Mets
are
are the
this
best team
season?
in New York.
Okay, listen. I'll say this. I don't want to take any credit away from the Mets. The Mets are fantastic. They're having a stellar year. They got the ground back. They're looking good. They're looking really good. But the Braves are a shag team, and I will say this till the day I die this year. Okay.
The Braves won the World
are an
Series.
absolute shag team. They're not winning the World Series. I can see them making the second round because they'll have an easier first round or something like that. But Braves are a shag team.
Be a wild card.
They're an absolute shag team. I mean, here's the thing: are the Mets scary? Are they good?
Oh.
Yeah, they're good. But on paper, do you look at the Mets and you're like, "Wow, I'm terrified of that
Yes.
team." Other than starting pitching.
Yes.
Other than starting pitching.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go
Yes.
through.
Pete Alonso, Vogelbach, Lindor, Starling Marte, Brandon Nimmo, Jeff McNeil. Yeah, I'm terrified. All those guys are having not career years, but close to career years.
Okay,
Not all of them,
Vogelback
but
was
like
awful.
the lower name. Yeah, he was, and not anymore.
He was awful on the Pirates. Okay,
Just,
it's not a name
you
that
want to
I'm
know who else?
afraid of.
You want to know? You
I'm
want to know
telling
who
you,
else was
looking
awful
on
on the
paper
Pirates?
before a season, knowing what anybody's doing. Okay, before knowing what anybody's doing. Right?
Okay, but
You look
before
on
the
paper,
season,
Vogelback is not somebody I'm afraid of. Pete Alonso,
okay,
I'm
all
afraid
right,
of.
all right.
Don't think he's going to be having the MVP season that he's having this year.
Before-
Francisco Lindor, yes, I'm afraid of, but he slipped on that shortstop ranking there. Starling Marte, I'm afraid of.
Before the
but
season,
he went like 10th round in our fantasy draft, and he was ranked like top 20 for fantasy. Nobody had faith in Starling Marte.
I'm
Jeff
looking-
McNeil, contact hitter. Brandon Nimmo, contact hitter. Okay.
I'll tell you what. As a Cubs fan,
Looking at
I
bef-
hate both of these
I'm
two
I'm
teams.
not talking.
Come on, lay it
I would hate
in.
him too. The Cubs.
Lay it in here, Steele.
If you're looking at before the season, that's completely irrelevant. If you're looking at before the season, I'm saying the Yankees aren't going to be good at all. The Cardinals are going to be subpar. If you're looking before the season and you look at the AL East and you don't think the Red Sox are going to be a top team in the MLB, you're crazy.
But
the best
nobody
infield
thought
in
the
the
Red
MLB,
Sox were
and
going to
then
be a
they come
top
out-
team in the MLB.
Well, he thought so. He was
If you-
convinced.
You look at their roster before the season, Kike Hernandez was the greatest player in the playoffs last year. Rafael
Okay.
Devers is the best third baseman in baseball. Xander Bogaerts is the best shortstop in baseball. Trevor Story is a Gold Glove second baseman who no one thought was going to hit 220 while he wasn't
You're
injured.
talking about the Red Sox.
If Chris Sale, you talked about you before the season didn't look good. Well, no.
Well,
no
if
crap,
you
they
look
didn't
at the
look
Mets
But
before the
you're
season,
saying-
there's no
You
shot.
also didn't you didn't think you were going to get a career year from Jeff McNeil. And you got Max Scherzer, so that's different. Starling Marte was a borderline,
career
maybe an
year
all-star
for
here
Jeff
and there
McNeil.
because it is. He was an all-star starter. Dude was getting talked about getting traded this offseason because he wasn't good. He was talking about getting platooned,
Let me tell you this.
and now
let me
he's
tell
an
you this.
all-star.
2018,
How's that not a
63 games,
career
he batted
year?
329. 2019, 133 games.
63 games.
He batted 318. 2020, 52 games, almost the
Okay.
whole season.
Was he an
batted
all-star?
311. Okay, I don't care that he's an all-star. He had a higher WAR in 2019. All right, that's the only season he had a higher WAR. He's only been in the league for 5 years, but he's been a very, very, very consistent hitter. You can't just look at his batting average and say, "Oh my God, he's having
He's
a
much
career
better this
year."
year.
Well, you can't go based on all-stars because you had that
Much
pity.
better this year than he's been in any other year.
You had that pity party about the Red Sox not getting enough players because it's always the best teams in the MLB that get all the all-star players.
The Red Sox are terrible.
The Mets have been.
Besides that, you look on.
Can I?
You
You
also,
gonna let me
can't look on
finish?
paper. Go ahead.
Getting all fired up. You can't go based on all-stars saying he has a career year because he's an all-star starter. You were complaining that the Yankees had so many all-star starters because they're the best in the league. The Mets are finally good, so that's what makes him the all-star starter this year. Yeah, he's having a good year, but all the rest of the years he was probably having better before. But the Mets were awful.
But if you look at a team before the year, that's so different than looking at a team now. If
No,
you're looking
well,
at a
I
team
was
right
gonna-
now on paper, if I'm in the playoffs, I want to play anybody else other than the Mets, unless you're the Dodgers. If I'm in the NL, if I'm in the NL, I'll take anyone except the Dodgers and the Mets right now.
Yeah,
I don't want to play the Dodgers, and I don't want to play the Mets.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what
I'll
I was
take
going to
anyone
agree
except
with
the Mariners.
you. If I looked
I
at
want
the
to play the Mariners.
If I looked
Why
at
don't
the
you
Mets
play the
beginning of the
Mariners?
season, there's no shot I'd think they're going to be as good as they were right
I'm
now.
telling you right now, if I'm the Mets, if I'm playing the Mets, I hear this.
Trumpets.
Yeah. If I hear the trumpets, bro, I'm shaking in my boots. But 2 years ago, Edwin Diaz was trash. No one wanted him. He was trash. You
Oh, I got it. 1 second.
can't look at before the
Oh,
season.
here
on
we
paper.
go. Look what you
And
started.
also,
Look what you started.
also the Braves are not. My bad. The Braves are not a shag team.
I knew he
Not
had
at
a
all.
trumpet.
Oh no. Talk out loud.
Yeah, that's right. I got a trumpet.
We come with the
The
props,
Braves-
everyone. You come for the news and you stay
Braves
for the
are-
top for the props.
Braves are not a shag team either.
Braves
Braves are not a shag team.
Braves are a
They're
big
not.
shag team. They're a big shag team.
Nah.
You're only saying
Braves
that 'cause they
were
beat your
under
Red Sox.
500 going into the trade deadline last year, or close to the trade deadline last year, and then they won the World Series.
Okay.
It just takes a
They
matter
got
of
hot at
getting
the right
hot.
time. You got hot at the right time.
Who says they can't? Who says they can't do it again?
I can see the Braves getting
I
hot
don't know.
again.
I'm not saying that they can't do it again. I'm saying that they are a shag team. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
This is the best team in New York.
This series, I mean, the biggest issue is that yeah, you saw DeGrom, you saw Scherzer, but you only saw them once apiece. Then you had 3 other games where you had
Oh, what are you gonna see in the playoffs?
Lucky Carrasco, Taijuan Walker,
And in those 3 other games, the
Greg
Mets won
Peterson,
2 out of
whatever
3 of
his name
those.
is. David Peterson. What's that?
The Mets won 2 out of 3 of those games. They won 4 out of 5.
I'll tell you what,
Mets are good.
the three guys you just named are well, not Carl or what's his Carosar? What's his name?
Carrasco.
Yeah.
Cookie.
Other than the amazing years he had for the Indians, I mean, it helps when you have DeGrom and freaking Scherzer.
We're the Indians at that time, so
Yeah. So
If you get into a playoff series and you go against the Mets, you're gonna be down 0-2.
without a doubt,
You're gonna be down 0-2 right away because you're not beating DeGrom and you're not beating Scherzer.
Taijuan Walker's
somehow
looked
get-
awesome this year too. So that
Yeah, if you somehow get to those guys though, like
you can beat Scherzer, you can't beat DeGrom.
I don't know
Scherzer
if
in the
you can beat
playoffs, he's healthy,
Scherzer
man.
how well he's playing so far this season. He's been incredible.
He's been playing really well, but I'll tell you what, he was pretty flawed against the Yanks. And I mean, if we're talking, and the Yanks were starting to slow down at that time, you know what I'm saying? So if we're talking top tier teams, right, going against other
Talk
top
about a
tier
shag
teams.
team.
Talk about a shag team.
On the Yanks, we'll get to that.
Well, we will.
But if we're talking top tier teams versus top tier teams, I mean, the Yankees showed that Scherzer can be pretty flawed. If you got a team that's got experience, you got the Dodgers in there, right? You got say you got the Brewers in there.
Yeah, but a game.
I mean,
but a-
Brewers. It's a different story with the Brewers, but the playoff experience I'm talking about. You know, you got them going against the Mets. They might be able to put up something against Scherzer.
I'll tell you what, no one should be
It's a difference.
afraid of Milwaukee.
Nobody should be.
I agree.
Christian Yelich has gone 0 for 4 the last week and a half right now. He is ice cold.
God awful. God awful. Well, not him. He's not God. I mean the Brewers in general. But I've been saying this. The Braves are a shag team. The Brewers are a shag team. The Giants are a shag team. Who else did I say is a shag team?
Who's your favorite NL team?
The Rays are a shag team. My favorite NL team? For playoffs or in general? Like, what's my favorite team to watch?
Who's your favorite NL team? Like
Watch
if you, yeah, like who do you like in the NL?
Oh, I love those Phillies. I absolutely love those Phillies.
Phillies.
You still a Phillies fan, even though they
Here's
got
my
rid
take.
of.
Here's my take. The Phillies.
Got rid of Didi.
I know they got rid of Didi. I was very upset about that, and I tweeted the Yankees
Didi.
probably about 5 times to get Didi back. I'm
sure they saw
the
that.
Phillies, here's my hot take: by the end of August, the Philadelphia Phillies are going to have a better record than the Atlanta Braves.
We're pretty close right now. I'm pretty sure.
Pretty close. They're about 3 games, 3-game separation. Yeah, and the Braves have to go with what is it? Let's see here. In August, I know where's their full schedule. They got to play Miami, then they go back to the Mets, then they play Houston, Pittsburgh, and they play St. Louis, then Colorado for their August schedule, okay? The Phillies do not have nearly as hard of a schedule. They've got only one team that they got to play that's over 500. It's the Mets, and they got to play them twice.
The Braves
That's
don't have
rough.
a good. The Braves have an easy schedule.
Not really. You got to play the Mets, you got to play the Astros, and you got to play the Cards. Even though the Astros have been pretty cold.
Play the Royals 3 more times.
I'm talking about for August. I said at the end of August, the Phillies are going to have a better record. This is what the Phillies have. They have the Marlins, okay?
Okay, I see
They have
what
the
you're saying. I see what
Mets.
you're saying.
They have the Reds. They have the Mets again. They have the Reds, Pirates, and then Arizona. That's their August schedule. They get to finish off their August schedule with a 4-game series
Marlins
against
are
the Reds,
close.
3 against Pittsburgh, 3 against Arizona.
That's big.
You said Marlins are close?
Decent.
Yeah, Marlins are decent. They're a wild card this year in my mind. Like, you never know what they're going to do necessarily. But at the same time, there's still 12 games back on those Phillies, and the Phillies are on a 6-game winning
Give
streak.
me
I think they're
me
12 and
Jazz in
1
the
in their
playoffs.
last 13. What's that? Give you
Me
who?
Jazz. Give me Jazz in the playoffs.
I would love to
I
see
want to see
Jazz in the
Jazz in
playoffs.
the
That'd be
playoffs.
fantastic. All right, let's move on
I
to
want
our
to
last
see.
series.
This one I'm excited about. I want to talk about these Yankees versus the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, man.
the Cardinals are a team where, you know,
Legit.
they have a great series against the Yankees. Now they're in the series against the Colorado Rockies. They have Miles Mustak. I butchered that last name.
Miles Michaelis or
Yeah, whatever.
Michaelis or something like
Michaelis.
that.
He gives up 10 earned runs, all-star pitcher, gets rocked against the Rockies, no pun intended, but that's what just goes to show how baseball is so inconsistent. I mean, great teams could get swept any day of the week.
I think those Cardinals are legit though. I've been saying that all year. I thought they were gonna win the NL Central with ease this year. I thought they were gonna pull away by 4 or 5 games from Milwaukee, which we're getting close to the end of the season, and it still very well could happen. But I've always thought that those Cardinals were legit. I'm just upset they didn't
first
make as
now.
much of a splash. Well, I know. I'm just upset they didn't make as much of a splash at the trade deadline.
Dude,
If they got a big name for the field, they
Got
would've been
Jordan
great.
Montgomery. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They got Jordan
okay.
Montgomery.
Which isn't
Just,
bad considering
honestly-
how well he's been pitching so far this year, and did pitch a
Yeah.
gem
He
against the
shoved
Yankees.
to the Yankees. Who
Yeah,
didn't
what was
pitch
it?
well for the
5
Yankees?
innings,
Frankie
5 innings
Montas.
pitched, 2 hits,
Yeah,
no runs.
Yeah, he looked awful in that matchup.
Yeah, but also give Frankie Montas some
Hits.
breathing room there. He
Give him
came
some
off
time.
of bereavement leave, and he had probably about 10 days off before his last start. So give him
His
some credit.
ERA, but his ERA is not good outside of the Coliseum.
Well, that's
Oh,
going
we'll
to
see.
change
I
because
guess
now
it's
he's a
just kind of a-
Yankee.
We'll see.
Either who can figure it out, or he's going to be a Sonny Gray. He can pitch anywhere
Well,
else. He just can't pitch in New
It's
York.
different
And
when
that
you play in New
happens
York.
sometimes.
It's different when you play in Boston. It's different when you play in Los Angeles. And that's as simple as it is. Play for the Mets, the Yanks, the Red Sox, or the Dodgers. It's different.
Or the
Playing a
Cubs.
different kind of ball.
All-star team.
Maybe if the Cubs are good.
No, I
Cubs are
couldn't
pretty
agree.
bad at baseball.
Yeah, we'll see. I couldn't
Yeah, but the
agree
Cubs
with
have
you.
probably one of the best fan bases.
Exactly. We're diehards. We'll brawl in those bleachers. We don't care.
Sixth
162 guys.
in attendance. Sixth in attendance on the season as a team that is, what are they right now? 45 and 65.
Still, you
15 and a
nervous
half
at
games
Yankee
out
Stadium?
from the
You come
Cardinals.
down with our bleacher creatures. We'll show you what's going on up in those seats.
Wrigley's got some good fans there, man.
Last time I was at Yankee Stadium in the bleachers, people got arrested because they were throwing stuff at me. So
Okay, and
I didn't even say anything. I was just hanging out.
buddy, listen, you're talking about the now Yankees. You don't even talk about how the Red Sox fans back in early 2000s were complete jerks. Were complete assholes, man. Literally, Pedro
All we got
Martinez
said.
threw
Whoa,
threw down
whoa,
center on the ground. He
whoa,
literally threw a 70-year-old man on the ground. Okay?
That's just wrong.
Yeah. That's not their fans. That's Pedro.
Dirtbag.
Anyways, I'm
Big
like talking
dirtbag.
about the Sox. He said go to the bleachers. I said this is what happened the last time I was in the bleachers. Yankee Stadium is a trash place to watch a baseball game. So
No. You
it's
know what
more
the issue
about
with the Yankee
the
Stadium is?
spectacle of it than it is the actual game on the field.
The issue with the Yankee Stadium is they started letting the bleacher seats get drunk. You don't want drunk fans cooking out in the sun
Yeah, you
that are
do.
already from New York. Like, it's
Yeah,
just
you
not
do.
gonna work out.
That's baseball,
You're just
baby.
gonna get some big jerks.
Especially
know?
when it's crazy. They're kind of trash, but it's all good. The
I'll
Cardinals
give you
are
that
good,
still.
and the
I think
Yankees.
the Yankees are very
came
flawed.
crashing down.
Very flawed.
I told everybody for the last 3 months, the Yankees are good. They're not this good, and they're gonna come crashing down. It might take a long time. I didn't think it was gonna come crashing down to earth like this, but this is what the Yankees are. They're gonna win somewhere between 95 and 105 games, and they're probably not gonna do anything. And everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, well, it's this guy's fault. It's this guy's fault." No, the issue is they don't build the roster correctly. Because if you're the Yankees and you say, "Okay, we have 7 people who get 50 home runs," awesome. Well, other than Judge and now Giancarlo Stanton, no one's hitting for average. They're not putting the ball in play a lot. Like your home run hitters are hitting the ball out, or they're not.
The
And if your
Yankees
home
will
run
touch
hitters aren't
100
hitting the ball
runs.
out, they're popping up or striking out. That's
The Yankees will
and
touch
that they're
100
going to.
runs.
And So I'm saying they're going to touch close to 100 wins, but their issue is if their home run ball isn't working and their pitchers aren't dicing people up, they're in trouble. And what we saw the last month or so
It's
is
bullpen.
the home run hitters aren't hitting people up and their pitchers are getting diced. It's not bullpen.
It's bullpen
They have
right
the
now.
third.
Bullpen's
It's
scary.
not bullpen. It's not bullpen. They have the third worst ERA since the All-Star break. The Red Sox have the worst, and it's not even close. It's like almost 7. The Twins are at like 5. The Yankees are at like 4.5. Those are the 3 worst.
Yeah, if you
starting
watch these games
ERA.
though, the Yankees don't seem out
Does it
of
hurt?
the game when the starters come out.
They lost the game. Not they lost the game, but one of the big things was Michael King would have been in that game in the lead last night or today. I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
It was today.
No.
And then they gave a home run to
today,
Carlos
today.
Santana. Today. Yeah, so I mean that's a big deal. But
That's today.
prior to this, like this was Nestor's best start in a long time. He gave up 2.
It really
So,
was.
Garrett Cole hasn't been
actually,
great.
you can't say that, Steve.
Frankie
You can't say
Montas
that
got lit up.
because listen to this. Nestor Cortez against the Cardinals there had 5.1 innings pitched with 1 hit, 2 runs, 4 walks, 4 Ks, 83 pitches.
4 walks.
4 walks
Walks
hurts
is
big
big.
time.
You can't walk
4
4
walks
people.
hurts big time. But it's
That-
not like
that's
he's
what I'm
giving
saying.
the volume of hits.
That's what I'm
He gave
saying.
up 1 hit.
Today's game.
You
Today's
say
stat
4
line
hits
is
and 1
better
walk. Are
because if
you
you're
looking at it
walking,
the same way?
you know just as well as I do. If you're walking, I'm looking at it as a better start.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I would rather throw you. I would rather you and I both know. I would rather have someone throw a strike and let it get hit than walk people. Because the second you walk people, you're in trouble. The second you start putting people on base freely, you're gonna get in trouble. And a lot of times you put someone on free, they end up scoring because of whatever. That's just how baseball works. So if you walk almost a person an inning, you lose that game. That's not a great stat line. But if you only give up 4 hits, people are gonna look at me like, oh, that was a pretty good job. But if I'm like, oh, you gave up 1 hit, but you walked 4 people, they're like, that's not good. So I mean, realistically, it's the same number of people on base, and the walk's only one base instead of maybe a triple, a double, or a home run. But I'd rather let people hit the ball. At least my defense has a chance to make a play than I'm just free passing people.
I mean, overall, in my
Becomes an
mind, these
issue.
three series that we're talking about here were the biggest series of the season to be happening at the same time. You needed to see Padres versus
Expected
Dodgers.
more.
You needed to see Braves versus Mets. You needed to see the Yanks go against somebody that's over 500. See what they did. I mean, the Mets took them out easily, and the Astros took them out easily. To be fair, I'll give them a little bit of credit when it comes to the Mets series because we had Erman and Gumby pitching that series. But the Yankees needed to play against a plus 500 team there, and I think you saw their flaws. They have flaws. They're
I've been
not
saying
as
they have
scary as
flaws.
people think they are.
I've been saying they have flaws forever, and it's not even because I'm just a Yankee hater, but
I mean, I've always agreed that they've had flaws. You know,
their
it's
starting
just nice to
pitching
ride that high.
has pitched out of their minds for the first 3 months of the year, and if they're not going to do that anymore, they're in trouble. Especially if their bullpen's going to be doing what they're doing and getting hurt.
Their bats
I
aren't.
mean, not that you can control
alive.
hurt, but if their bats aren't hot. I mean, outside of Aaron Judge, who's just a freak. Or cold. Stan's, I think, still on the IL, right?
Who?
Correct. Stan's still on the IL.
Stanton's on the IL.
Harrison Bader's on the IL, so I mean, you're not going to get a ton from him anyways. But
Yeah, but DJ
But you
LeMay
forget
has been
about
playing
one
very well.
Very important player there.
DJ Rizzo, but they're not.
DJ.
DJ's
not
been playing
one of the best players in
phenomenal.
the MLB right now.
Yeah, I know, but if you only have DJ and Judge when your lineup was a lot longer and no one else is really doing anything, yeah, Rizzo's going to hit 30 bombs, but he pulls
We
the
had
ball
no
and
Riz until
he's not
until
hitting for
today.
huge contact.
We had no Riz until today. Stanton's out. Carpenter's out. That's 3 huge bats to lose in your lineup.
Carpenter's big. Matt
Carpenter's
Carpenter is a
massive.
big loss. Matt
was
Carpenter
massive.
gave me Steve Pierce vibes. He gave me Steve Pierce vibes. That stinks. That one. I think that one hurts. If he's done for a long time, I think that's trouble. I also saw a report today. I wanted to get your or 2 days ago. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Dodgers possibly could offer Aaron Judge a 4-year contract for somewhere around $45 to $50 million a year.
Does he take it? Are you asking?
Yeah, you think he takes that? Only 4 years?
No, he needs.
I don't
7
think he
or 8.
does either. But if you say 4 for 200, or the Yankees
It's
offer him
hard to walk
7
away
for
from.
300, take.
If you're gonna say 4 for
I
200,
think he takes the
you need
longer.
to say 200 guaranteed.
I think he takes the longer years because he's older.
Yeah, he's taking the longer years.
He
needs
seems
to
like
take
he's
the
smart
longer
enough
years.
to know he wants the longer years, or
Unless
maybe
it's
he just
all
takes the most guaranteed money.
Yep.
He just takes guaranteed money.
Well,
Because if he
that's what I
goes
think
7
the
years to the
Yankees.
Yankees, but year 5 he's gonna be bad. They're just gonna cut him, and then
somebody else has to swallow that contract.
I don't think he's
Go
going to
ahead,
be
Raz.
bad anytime soon, but I think that's what the Yankees are kind of planning on doing. They're going to give him not the biggest contract, but I think it's all going to be guaranteed to kind of lure him in.
It's going to be very comparable to Garrett Cole's, except less years. He's going to have somewhere up to $325 million, probably about 7 years. He wants 8 years though.
That's so much money to pay him.
Big investment. I mean, I think
For a person who's shown
I've always
only
agreed
1
that I
year
think
he can
Judge
be
is one of the
healthy.
most overrated players too. Is he fantastic? Yeah, he is. But is he that championship caliber
I don't
captain
even
that you're going to
think
have? No.
We'll see. I think this is the
I don't
big
even think
year
he's
for Judge.
overrated.
I agree.
But you're gonna pay him off one. That's the thing. Aaron Judge is a freak, and he's the best player in baseball right now. But you're gonna pay a guy off 1 year, especially a dude who's older, and on every other year that he's gonna get hurt 2 or 3 times. He's not
Take
gonna
Aaron
stay in the
Judge off
outfield
the
forever.
Yankees.
He can't.
Take Aaron Judge off the Yankees.
You
out of
take
the
Aaron
big
Judge off
market,
the Yankees,
he's
they're just-
nothing. He's nothing.
If you take Aaron Judge off the Yankees this year and just put this Yankee teams out there, this Yankee team's terrible.
I'm not talking about the Yankee team. I'm saying you take Aaron Judge, beginning of his career. You
take
you
Aaron
don't have
Judge
him on
and
the
put-
Yankees. You have him on a small market.
Put him in like Pittsburgh.
He's
or
a
something.
nobody. He's just a big guy.
Well,
Everybody's like, whoa.
That's the lore. That's the Yankee lore. That's my what's the word I want to use? I don't know. That's my thing with the Hall of Fame and Derek Jeter and David Ortiz. If you take their careers and put them somewhere else, they're not the same player. If they have the same exact stats, they're not looked at the same because they played in New York and they played in Boston. Like you were saying earlier, it's different to play in those two places. Aaron Judge is going to benefit from that, but he's going to get paid.
All right.
The
What do you guys think?
Dodgers are serious. I don't see him
Jump into the top 5.
not offering him
All right,
something.
let's move into those power rankings there.
All right. Who wants?
You guys have it one.
I got.
Nope.
Well, no, we'll go
I
one
wanna
by
Assuming
your
we all
list.
have the same number one.
I doubt
On your
it.
list.
I would assume we all have the same number one.
Well, here I'll
doubt
start it. And then.
Go ahead.
All right. So at 1, I have the Dodgers. At 2, I have Houston.
That's what I'm saying.
At 3, I have the Yankees. At 4, I have the Mets, and at 5, I have the Blue Jays.
I think
You don't have the
top four is
Padres
gonna
in
be
there?
Undisputed.
No,
That's your top 4 too. That's not my top 4.
I have 5 still.
Yeah.
No, he said
I
your
was
top
saying
4
that top four should be undisputed.
disputed. I said that's not my top 4.
So it's disputed.
All right, give me.
This is why I wanted.
Give me yours.
See,
Steele.
Steele
Give me
wanted
yours.
to do 10. Everybody that's listening, I narrowed it
I can
down
do
to
10 right
5
now.
because I think 5 is good.
Well, we can go over the 6 through 10 after really quick.
Well,
But my top are Dodgers, Astros are 1, 2, and I don't think it's really close.
No.
But after the Dodgers and Astros, I think it's the Mets. Looking at teams right now, ranking them right now, there's no way the Yankees are in the top 3. The Yankees have been under 500 since, what was it, like end of July? They're under 500. Not as playing as well as they have been. They got some people that are injured. Mets are clicking on all cylinders. They just almost swept the Braves in a 5-game series. The Mets are 3. I think the Padres are 4. Know what just happened versus the Dodgers. But you're getting Tatis back. Tatis was 2 for 2 yesterday or today in his rehab assignment with a double. He's playing short, DH, and center. He's probably going to play a little more center at the big league level because that's where their need is. And if you put him at center, he's a little more from having issues at shortstop, whether it's be fielding the ball, throwing the ball, or just being in harm's way. And then I have the Yankees at 5. I like your Blue Jays. I like the Blue Jays. I like the Blue Jays a lot. I said it, my first episode, the Blue Jays going to be a team to watch out for. I wouldn't be you have the Yankees at 5 because you don't like the Yankees. Well, I don't like the Yankees. But if you're looking at where they're playing right now, what I'm looking forward to,
And we're what,
I
Steele?
think the Yankees they're not going to turn it around to what they were doing.
And we're what?
What?
We're unbiased. It's right in the name.
I'm unbiased.
I know, that's why I'm glad you
Am
put the
unbiased.
Yankees on there.
Yankees are a top 5 team in baseball right now.
Yeah, I agree.
You want
You know
mine?
who I really wanted to,
I would
who I
love
really wanted to put
yours.
on there? The Baltimore Orioles. Really, really, really wanted
Yeah,
to put
you
the Baltimore
can't.
Orioles up there.
You can't now. They trade all their
What's
players.
absolutely crazy,
Yeah,
and I think
but
this is gonna blow your mind, Riaz, is my list is absolutely identical to Steele's, except I am flip flopping the Mets and the Astros. I got Dodgers, Mets, Astros, Padres, Yanks. That's my top 5.
thought about that one. I
That's
thought about
crazy.
those two.
Because I think right
Yankees?
now the NL have the top of the top teams, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Well,
But the AL's more sound.
I think
overall,
Houston's
in my mind.
much
I only
better than
have
the Mets.
3 AL teams. Houston's scarier. That's the thing with Houston. They are scarier than the
I
Mets.
You know,
think they
Steele-
did a lot
Steele-
better job at the trade deadline. They added a ton of key pieces. They didn't really need to add anybody to a team that's already top of the AL. I mean, they're a half a game or a game above the Yankees right now as we stand
Gross.
recording this. So,
Half a game.
half a game. So
No, Steele,
them
I'm gonna
adding
give you
Trey
my,
Mancini and everybody else. I mean,
Steele, I'm gonna give you my 6 through 10, just because I know you're prepared
Okay,
as
go
well.
ahead.
So number 6 falling in is the Blue Jays, 7 is the Cardinals, 8th is the Mariners, 9th is the Phillies, 10th is the Braves.
I have the same teams, but I have Blue Jays, Braves, Cardinals, Mariners, Phillies. So I have the same teams.
You just put the Braves up in the spot where the Cards are.
Here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I put the Braves there because I love Dansby Swanson.
I know you do.
Dansby
You have a big man
Swanson
crush.
he's my spirit animal.
also been
I
playing
love
great
Dansby.
baseball this year.
I think we just need to when it comes to our rankings, I feel like we just need to face facts. Record matters. Okay, record definitely matters. That's why Dodgers are number 1 overall in my mind. Okay, otherwise, I think the Mets make an argument. But because of record, I'm putting the Dodgers number 1. Okay,
I think it's the top 3, and then kind of other ones are kind of in this little realm down here.
The Mets, in my mind, even though they don't have the win streak that the Phils had, they didn't have the win streak the Cardinals had, they are the scariest team in baseball as of right now. This moment, I don't want to play the Mets. I would rather play the Dodgers than the Mets.
I don't know about that.
3 being the Astros, because the Astros will find a way to bounce back, and especially since they're the Yankees' daddies, that makes a big difference in the AL. Huge difference in the AL. 4 being the Padres for me, because they're just an overall more sound squad than the Yankees. In my mind, even though the record doesn't dictate it right now, the Yankees got off to a crazy hot start. The Padres better, even though the Dodgers are the Padres' Padre. For 5, the Yankees. I think you can't have a top 5 without the Yankees, just based on what they have shown that they're capable of doing, whether they're doing it right now.
I will say if the Blue Jays get within 7 or 6 games, that might flip for me. Even though the Yankees would still be at the top of the division, if the Blue Jays can get to within 6 games, maybe 7, probably 6, they can get within like 5-ish, 5-6, that will probably flip for me. Dude, the Blue Jays are so good. They're so scary.
Well, I'll tell you this, why the Blue Jays made my list and not the Padres. I think the Blue Jays have a better shot of beating their top teams in their division than the Padres. The Padres have been such an up and down team all season. I mean, they play against the Giants, they play against the Dodgers, they play against the Mets.
The Rockies.
The Rockies. I mean, they
look rocky.
They
look very rocky.
The games they should be winning, they lose. They come off of a tough series against the Dodgers, go and play the Giants, who they should crush, and they lose. They lose 0-1 with Juan Soto, bottom of the 9th. You're thinking he just moved here. He's gonna get that big contract. I mean, he's gonna hit a home run. Strikes out. I mean,
hot take: Juan Soto does not play the rest of his career in San Diego.
I don't think he does either.
Where do you think he moves to after this? Because this is a rent. Then this is a rental. They gave up every.
You can totally see that he loves Tatis, but I don't think Juan Soto is gonna like San Diego after the season.
Honestly, if I'm being honest, I think he goes to Baltimore.
That's an awful take.
That would be awesome.
He made a comment. Here's my reasons why. He made a comment that I'm gonna ask him about playing for the Yankees because this is when that was like a big thing. He said that he's already been in that area. 2, he likes. I think the Orioles are gonna be. That's like 3 years from now. That's where they're gonna be ready to be like, all right, we're gonna go all in and go get this championship. As long as our core kind of stays doing what they're doing. And 3, he has been on record saying that not only does he like playing in Yankee Stadium, but the reason he likes playing Yankee Stadium is he likes silencing the Yankee fans. Only way you do that in that the Blue Jays can't afford him. They're not going to be able to because they have to pay their guys, or they're just if they don't pay their guys, I don't know what's going to happen to Blue Jays. The Rays, they already dished out huge money to other people. They're not paying him. Red Sox, I don't think are going to have the capital to pay him unless they don't sign Xander and Rafi. And in that case, why would you pay Juan Soto if you're not going to sign those two? The only other team that makes sense is the Orioles, and I think the timeline matches up with the Orioles.
I think it does too.
That would
And I don't know if he loves the West Coast. I mean, wait, see.
That
makes sense. I mean, I was gonna say the Red Sox, but I was thinking about it today. Like, doesn't make any sense.
It never makes any sense whenever you say the Red Sox.
It's fair. The Red Sox love spending money on people that haven't proven anything, i.e. Pablo Sandoval, but the Orioles make a bunch of sense.
Pablo Sandoval didn't prove anything after 3 championships?
Boston. I'm saying the Red Sox like paying people that have not proven it in Boston. Proven it other places, and then they come to Boston.
How are they supposed to prove it in Boston if they're not in Boston?
Here's an idea. Just pay the people that are on your team already, i.e. Dave Ortiz.
That's a very valid idea.
Pay Xander Bogaerts, pay Rafael Devers, the best left side of the infield in Major League Baseball.
And that's why I was
Juan
shocked.
Soto, hot take. Juan Soto will be a Baltimore Oriole within the next 3 years.
And I think we leave it.
And that's where he will go into the Hall of Fame as an Oriole.
Do we have anything else more to talk about, fellas? Or
I did want to mention something, but I think I ended up forgetting what I wanted to mention. So I think I'm good. Oh, I'm off those White Sox now. I'm off those White Sox. They're only a game and a half back, but I'm off those White Sox.
Did I see that Peraza got promoted? Or am I
thought he was hurt.
Completely out of my mind?
I thought he was hurt.
Maybe I'm off my mind. I thought he got promoted to triple. Maybe
everybody's been talking about getting him up in the majors right now. They want him up in the majors right now.
That's
People have been half and
half
half on IKF. I'm still an IKF guy. I still support IKF.
I told you what you were gonna get when you first traded for him. You're gonna get a defensive wizard that's gonna hit decently.
Even though he has not been a defensive wizard, but he makes great contact.
He hasn't.
Makes great contact. Otherwise, the Brewers are trash. They're not going to be doing it. I bet you the Brewers could even slip out of the playoff picture here. Are they out of the playoff picture?
Brewers, I don't think so.
Let's see here. Yeah, they're out. No, they're out. Of it. Yeah, it's Braves, Phillies, Padres.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's Braves, Phillies, Padres, and Baltimore has found their way back.
Bryce Harper back.
Baltimore has found their way back, and if they can, they got the Blue Jays tonight, right?
Baltimore's in 3rd place. They're 2 games behind the Blue Jays. That's great. I want the Baltimore Orioles to win the World Series.
They gotta make a date. That'd be crazy if the Baltimore Orioles somehow pulled off some kind of freaking run. That's just like, wow, how'd you do that? That'd be incredible. Whoever bet on the Orioles to win the World Series in the beginning of the season they're gonna be having a great payday. Even if they bet just $1, they're probably gonna make over $1,000. But I'm gonna look up those odds quickly. I want to look up the odds of Orioles.
I don't know you'll be able to find them.
World Series at the beginning of the season. They're down to 250 to 1.
Jeez.
And they're at 15 to 1 to make the playoffs, but at the beginning of the season they were at plus 30,000.
Damn.
Plus 30,000 odds. A $1 bet would get you what? $300?
A $1 bet for what odds? 3,000?
30,000.
30,000?
It's $300, right?
3,000.
No, it's not.
I think. I don't know.
A $10 bet would be 3,000. Because a $100 bet would be 30,000. $10 must be 3,000. $1 must be 300.
Oh, true.
I mean, even imagine doing a $10 bet on the Orioles in the beginning of the season to win the World Series and they win it all. And now you turn that $10 into $3,000.
True.
There are probably Oriole fans out there right now that have $100 on them winning the World Series.
Juan
at the beginning
Soto's
of the
gonna be a
season.
Baltimore Oriole.
And that's where we're
That
going to
would be
leave
awesome.
it, because
I
that's
would
what I wanted
actually
the
really
cliffhanger
support
to end
that.
before.
I
All
would
right,
really support
everybody.
that.
If you listen to the end of this rambling, we really do appreciate it, and we hope you guys enjoyed. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace.